Shedeur Sanders went undrafted. A surprise, if not a shock.
Under no circumstance, we all know this shouldn't have happened. Tomorrow's the day. We're going to be happy regardless.
One of the truly stunning stories in the history of the draft is Shedeur Sanders sliding straight in to Saturday. Nobody knows where he's going to go.
With the 144th pick, the Cleveland Browns select Shedeur Sanders.
Take a minute, be upset that you fell in the draft, but I think now you attack this opportunity and prove everyone wrong.
Thank you for the fans, thank you for everybody, thank you for the Browns organization for giving me a chance. That's all I need.
NFL analyst Sam Acho with us right now. And it finally happened. Shedeur Sanders to the Browns in the 5th round after a historic slide. So, Acho, what do you make of this pairing of Shedeur Sanders and Cleveland?
I think it's the perfect fit. It's just a couple rounds later than a lot of people expected. Cleveland is going to have a quarterback that will be able to compete in this roster. We think about it. Yes, it's a crowded quarterback room, but Shedeur fits what Kevin Stefanski, the head coach and now play caller, wants to do. He wants quarterbacks who throw on time, who throw on rhythm. They don't have to be overly athletic, but they have to be able to distribute the ball. And that's one thing that Shedeur Sanders did extremely well. He was very efficient at getting to his target on time. And so it's the right fit, crowded room, but we'll have an opportunity, especially as the season goes on, to try and earn a spot and maybe get some starts.
Yeah, definitely a crowded quarterback room. 5 quarterbacks right now on that Browns roster. So that is a standout storyline from the draft. However, what about a team that had a standout draft over the last 3 days?
The defending Super Bowl champions, Philadelphia Eagles, did it again. Let's start with their first-round pick, Jahad Campbell. He's a beast, a linebacker out of Alabama. But what's better about this fit is the fit between him and his coordinator. Vic Fangio loves linebackers. We've seen it over and over again. I saw it up close and personal when I played with him as a linebacker for 4 years. This is going to be an unbelievable fit in the middle of this defense. And then combine that with Andrew Makumba, safety out of Texas. He's a physical, hard-hitting safety, but also is a ball hawk. And oh, by the way, there's that Georgia connection again. 5th round, Smile London, Athens over going again to Philadelphia. Howie Roseman does a great job of finding diamonds in the rough. I think Smile London is another one of them, the Georgia player that dominates on defense.
Yeah, well, the rest of the NFL not going to want to hear that the Eagles won the draft. However, you are going to want to hear this, Sam. It's a Saturday's best moment, and what a cool scene yesterday when you take a look at what happened here. This is someone you must be familiar with. The Packers took Texas edge rusher Baron Sorell, and much to his surprise and to the team, really, Sorell was the only one to actually stick around in the draft room and made an appearance on stage after getting selected. And Sam, we know that you're a Texas Longhorn. You love that program. What was going through your mind when you saw this moment happen?
Well, excitement. More than the program, I love the person. Baron Sorell is a friend of mine, or a mentee, if you will, and he decided to go to the draft. He said, man, I can't pass this moment up, but he knew that he may not be a first-round pick. He figured he'd be day 2. Well, day 2 comes and goes. All of a sudden, he's the last person there, and Roger Goodell says, hey, I will wait with you. And oh, by the way, it was worth the wait. We texted last night, Baron and I said, man, I knew that God had a plan, and that plan happened to be that he would get drafted to his home team. Essentially, he stayed in Green Bay for an extra day, and the Green Bay Packers were the team that drafted him. So all that extra night that he stayed, he's got a chance to know his community a little bit more.
Yeah, it really was the perfect moment. Sorell saying that he was, quote, thankful that I made the decision to come back because it couldn't have turned out any better. Obviously was the best situation. Acho, thanks so much for the insight.
Shedeur Sanders went undrafted. A surprise, if not a shock.
Under no circumstance, we all know this shouldn't have happened. Tomorrow's the day. We're going to be happy regardless.
One of the truly stunning stories in the history of the draft is Shedeur Sanders sliding straight in to Saturday. Nobody knows where he's going to go.
With the 144th pick, the Cleveland Browns select Shedeur Sanders.
Take a minute, be upset that you fell in the draft, but I think now you attack this opportunity and prove everyone wrong.
Thank you for the fans, thank you for everybody, thank you for the Browns organization for giving me a chance. That's all I need.
NFL draft analyst Matt Miller with us right now. And Matt, the wait is over. Shedeur Sanders headed to Cleveland. What do you make of this pairing between these two?
This was the perfect fit for him. It was one I laid out even before the draft. Now, we thought it was going to be in the first, maybe the second round, not this late in the draft for him, but it is the ideal fit with Kevin Stefanski in an offense that's going to live with the play action. They need a quarterback who can be a point guard from the pocket. That's what Shedeur does best. They don't need a lot of RPO game. They're going to have a strong running game. We saw them actually select several running backs throughout the 2025 draft. They're going to want to live and die with the run game. And also, this is a good spot for him to develop. There's no pressure to get on the field right away. He's going to have to battle it out with players like Joe Flacco, who's an established veteran, Kenny Pickett, a quarterback who's gone through the rigors of being a first-round draft pick, and, of course, they also selected Dylan Gabriel. So it's a loaded quarterback room right now. There's going to be some competition, which might be a good thing for Shedeur, who's going to have to battle through the adversity of falling in the draft. Hopefully it's put that chip on his shoulder, and now he's going to be ready to go in and outwork those guys. But the scheme fit and the team fit is ideal.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of competition in that quarterback's room in Cleveland. Let's get to the rest of the draft, starting with the good. So which team impressed you the most?
Yeah, I loved what the Patriots did in this draft. And Mike Vrabel and Elliott Wolf were absolutely cooking throughout the entire thing. We saw Will Campbell, the #1 overall pick, but then they continued to build their type of team with speed and Travion Henderson, speed at wide receiver and Kyle Williams, and even speed at the center position. Jared Wilson was the most athletic of the interior offensive linemen in this draft. Craig Woodson's a big-time hitter from the safety position. And then they go trenches with a player, Joshua Farmer, who can be a very, very high-impact player as a rookie. Now, not every team is going to be at the top of the list. The most head-scratching team for me, I really think it's the Miami Dolphins. They have a need in the secondary. They didn't address that until the 5th round. Now, there was a shortage of picks here that really affected them. Kenneth Grant is a solid player, a nose tackle at pick 13, a little bit rich for me. And they didn't address the quarterback spot until day 3 when they selected Quinn Ewers from Texas to be Tua Tagovailoa's backup. Tua's a player who's had some injury issues. A backup quarterback in Miami is very important, so hopefully Ewers can get back to where he was at with the Texas Longhorns. And then my favorite pick, probably the entire draft, Malachi Starks, a safety, going from Georgia to the Baltimore Ravens. Pairing him with Kyle Hamilton is an ideal fit for both Starks and for what the Ravens do. A team with a great secondary just got richer in the NFL draft with Malachi Starks. He's going to be an impressive rookie with his ball skills and his instincts on the back end of the defense.
Yeah, a great addition to that secondary. Starks just adding to that Baltimore defense. Matt Miller with the latest. Thanks so much.
The NFL draft is in the books, and after almost 5 rounds of the draft and 143 picks, the Cleveland Browns took Colorado quarterback Shedeur Sanders with the 144th pick, trading up with Seattle to nab their second quarterback of the draft. Sanders was Mel Kiper Jr.'s top-rated QB at one point. Here's Browns GM Andrew Berry.
Obviously, Shedeur has kind of grown up in the spotlight. But, our expectation is for him to come in here and work and compete. Nothing's been promised. Nothing will be given. So, I may, hesitate to characterize it as a blockbuster. That's not necessarily how we thought of the transaction. But we are excited to work with him.
I'm extremely grateful for the opportunity. I don't ever focus on the negative or even think about the negative because the positive happens so fast and it's a change of emotions. For me, it was just playing quarterback. That's what it's about.
Look, the Sanders draft pick was the latest the Browns have used a pick on for a quarterback since 2000. Sanders joins an already full quarterback room in Cleveland with 4 of the 5 QBs acquired this offseason. NFL draft analyst Matt Miller and football analyst Sam Acho are with us again. And as we just saw, the long wait for Shedeur Sanders ends in the 5th round. They get picked by the Browns. So now I want you both to answer this. Now we talk about how does it fit, right? How does Shedeur Sanders fit in Cleveland? Matt, you go first.
This is a great fit for him. It really is. And it's funny because in the pre-draft process, when we talked about where would be the ideal landing spots for Shedeur, Cleveland was always my top answer for him because of Kevin Stefanski. This is someone who knows how to develop quarterbacks. But also, Kevin's offense is going to run off play action and is really going to be based on a strong running game. Those are the things that Shedeur does well, playing in the pocket where he can be accurate, where he can throw on time. And really, that's what he does best. He's surgical when he has that time to pick guys apart. Cleveland has some weapons with Jerry Jeudy, David Njoku. They added Harold Fanta Jr., a tight end out of Bowling Green. So I like the fit for him. I also like that there's some quarterbacks here who've battled some adversity. Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, guys that he can learn how to be an NFL quarterback from.
And if you take out all the pizzazz, all the flash, all the show on the watch, what you see with Shedeur Sanders, when you turn on the film, you see a pure pocket passer, a traditional pocket passer. And that's exactly why Kevin Stefanski said, okay, I have to go back to start calling plays again. And that's actually exactly why this is a fit. We saw last year Kevin Stefanski gave up play calling duties. They went to more of a passing first offense. But no, Matt, you said it. They want to be a run first. That's why they drafted 2 running backs. That's why they got Harold Fannin. They want to be a 12 personnel, 2 tight end formation, and then have a pocket quarterback that doesn't have to use his legs, but that can stand tall in the pocket. And that's exactly what Shedeur Sanders does.
Okay, I want to follow up with you both on this. And Sam, I'll go to you first, considering you've been in situations like this before, meaning you've been in rooms where they might be a little more crowded than usual. This is a very crowded quarterback room with 5 QBs now on the roster. How is this going to play out in training camp? And at what point does Kevin Stefanski need to make a decision?
Well, it's crowded, but no one's been established just yet. Think about it. Joe Flacco is aging. Kenny Pickett is not proven yet. Deshaun Watson is injured. And so all of a sudden, you have a quarterback room that has a lot of people in it, but no one's established himself as the starter. And so there will be ample opportunity for Shedeur, for Flacco, for Kenny Pickett to try and earn the spot. But at the end of the day, it's going to be a competition. And so no decision needs to be made just yet. Obviously, you have to let the competition play out in training camp. And then when the season starts, I'll have a better idea of who will be the starter.
No, Sam, that's a great point. With Deshaun Watson, given the timing of the second Achilles injury, I think we can realistically say that he's not going to play in 2025, and certainly not anytime early in 2025. And the difference here with Cleveland is, despite those other 3 names, Dillon Gabriel, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, none of those guys are players that they gave a ton of money to or that they used high draft picks to acquire. So this really can be truly an open competition. I would expect Flacco, because of his experience, probably has the upper hand there. But Dillon Gabriel was a late 3rd-round pick. Shedeur was a 5th-round pick. And Kenny Pickett is now on his 3rd team in the NFL in as many seasons. So it truly is a level playing field. I would expect all 4 of those quarterbacks to have a really good opportunity into training camp and the preseason to win this job.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing how this all plays out. We've all seen the quarterback listed on the back of the Browns jerseys with names crossed out, right? The Browns have had 40 different starting QBs since 1999, 10 more than the next closest team. We'll see if Shedeur Sanders makes it 41. Okay, now the draft is concluded. 7 rounds are in the books. Matt Miller, I go to you. Who had the best draft this year?
Yeah, I love what the Philadelphia Eagles did. There were several teams that had really strong drafts, but Philadelphia, coming off a Super Bowl win where they beat up the Kansas City Chiefs with their defense, Howie Roseman used his first 5 picks on defense, getting Jahad Campbell from Alabama, someone who can be a versatile edge rusher, a linebacker. He's going to be very similar to what Zach Bond did for them last year and was an all-pro player. But in the second round, to get Andrew Makuba, a hard-hitting, versatile safety, someone that can be a ball hawk. He had 4 interceptions this past year. And he joins the secondary that already has second-year players, Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. So this was a fantastic draft for Philly. Ty Robinson in round 4 could be a steal in this draft. I thought he was going to be a 2nd or 3rd round player, but this is how you do it, and this is why Howie Roseman is the best in the business in terms of general managers.
Yeah, they have just reloaded every single year through the draft. You think about Cooper DeJean last year, Jalen Carter the year before. Oh, and the Eagles are coming off of a Super Bowl. Every single year when the draft happens, it's like feel-good moments time and time again. And so this draft, obviously, Sam, had those moments, of course, the phone calls, the hugs, the memorable things that stuck. What stuck out to you the most?
What stuck out to me was an individual named Barron Sorell. Barron Sorell got invited to the draft. It was one of those dream come true. But the dream started to wane when he didn't get drafted in the 1st round or the 2nd round or the 3rd round. But he waited all the way until later on, day 3 in the draft. So he waited, and all of a sudden, his mom was there, his dad was there, his brother was there. And oh, by the way, the draft was in Green Bay. Barron Sorell got drafted to the Green Bay Packers, and so it was well worth the wait. We texted yesterday, and he was so excited. He said, man, God had a plan. And so I couldn't be more excited for Barron Sorell. For me, that was the feel-good moment. Yes, you got invited. Yes, you had to wait, but the wait was well worth it.
I loved seeing that as well. Acho and Sorell both went to Texas, so these two have a relationship. I did ask Sorell, though, if he was down with the cheese curds. Doesn't like cheese, so he's going to have to get used to that there in Green Bay, I will say. Sam Acho, Matt Miller, thanks guys, appreciate it.
Xin chào tất cả các bạn, chào mừng các bạn đã đến với kênh YouTube của mình. Ngày hôm nay mình sẽ hướng dẫn các bạn cách tô màu sao cho đẹp nhất nhé. Và bây giờ mình sẽ tô màu những sản phẩm Các bạn hãy lắng xem hết video của mình để mình có động lực ra video nhiều hơn nhé. Mình cảm ơn các bạn. Và bây giờ mình cùng các bạn đi tô màu nhé.
Mình sẽ tiếp tục tô màu.